Members, it's time we have a quorum. Confirmation of minutes of the 20th meeting held on the 13th of June has been forwarded to members. Can we confirm minutes? Thank you. Matters rising. A report of my meeting with the Chief Secretary for Administration. The Chief Secretary for Administration expressed concern about the violent storming of the electrical complex on the 13th of June. District Court Equal Opportunities Amendment Rules 2014 Legal Advisor. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last Friday, we submitted a report to the House Committee, and we pointed out there were some legal and technical issues on which a clarification was being sought from the Department of Justice, from the Judiciary Administration, rather. We received a reply from the Judiciary Administration. We have studied the reply, and now we have prepared paper number LS64. In this paper, in this further report, we have given a detailed report on the points we raised and what our responses to the reply. Most importantly is that under what circumstances the District Court may resort to the summary proceedings to do with EO proceedings, but where there might be exceptions. That's not spelled out in the provisions, and from the reply to inquiry, we're told that the judge would look at the gravity of the case and whether there's any legal representation. If so, then they may still resort to the usual civil proceedings of the district court. So that means the rate may be a bit different, or the petition may be a bit different. Anyway, we have clarified all our doubts, and on the drafting and legal aspects of the bill of the rules, we do not see any need for follow-up. Members, do you wish to set up a subcommittee? Mr. Dennis Kwok proposes a subcommittee. Does anyone wish to join? Okay, the Secretariat will circulate papers. Business arising from previous council meetings. Legal Service Division report on bill referred to the House Committee in accordance with Rule 54(4). Copyright Amendment Bill 2014, Legal Advisor. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the Copyright Amendment Bill 2014. I'm sure members who are concerned about issue would have studied the bill. In the last in the last session, or last term of LegCo, of course we dealt with the Copyright Amendment on the Bill 2011, and this is in addition to that bill. At the time the administration proposed some committee stage amendments, there was no time to deal with the bill, and all these CSAs have now been incorporated into this new bill. On parody and etc., secondary creation. Now there's been consultation conducted, and this is covered by the current bill as well. Now the bill itself is rather complex. I'm sure members will want to set up Bills Committee. Mr. Sing Sung Kai proposes Bills Committee. Ms. Sit Ho has indicated wish to join. Okay, the Secretariat will circulate papers next. Legal Service Division report on subsidiary legislation, gazetted on the 13th of June 2014 and tabled in Council on the 18th of June 2014. Legal Advisor. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This report is on subsidiary legislation gazetted on the 13th of June. Paper number LS62. There are altogether 4 items of subsidiary legislation. The first one, Food and Drugs Composition and Labeling Amendment number 2, Regulation 2014. Mr. Chairman, this regulation is to provide for the requirement for 4 types of food. For example, infant formula, follow-up formula, nutrition labeling, and then there's exemptions, penalties, and so on. Now, for members who are familiar with the subject, you would know that the administration has actually made reference to the standards, established standards for these foods under the Codex Alimentarius Commission. Now, for infant or babies over the age of between the age of 6 and 36 months, there are requirements on the formula for them. Now, the panel members, relevant panel members, expressed views about the grace period, because now there's going to be 18 months of grace period, and for a follow-up formula, there will be a 2 years grace period. The requirements only come into force in 2016. Anyway, our report has spelled out all the details. Maybe members wish to set up a subcommittee. Yes, Mr. Sin Chung Kai proposes a subcommittee. Ms. Dr. Helena Wong would join. Who would like to join? Okay, the secretary will circulate papers. Next, please. Legal advisor. Yes, there are 2 items of subsidiary legislation: Import and Export General Regulations, Amendment of Schedules Order 2014, and Import and Export Fees Amendment Number 2, Regulation 2014. This is about further liberalization measures for the textiles. Now, before the amendment, textiles are regarded as prohibited articles. They are subject to export and import licensing requirements, and this requirement will be removed. And then for production notification requirement, it will also be removed. The legal notices will come into operation on the 21st of November this year. The panel on commerce and industry was briefed on the proposal. Members in general support the relaxation of the requirements. Do you wish to set up subcommittee? No, then. Next, please, legal advisor. Next, we have Solicitors General Cost Amendment Rules 2014. Last year, around this time, we dealt with the same legal notice, but at that time, the subcommittee, in scrutinizing the item, found that there was a problem with the authority in making the rules. So the matter was referred to the Law Society, and they were asked to consider how to rectify this issue. It's actually a straightforward issue. It doesn't involve public policy. It's only about fee charging. And now, this LN is to be made by the proper authority. That's the cost committee. That is the council, the cost committee of the Law Society. Do you wish to set up a subcommittee? No, then. If I may remind members, the deadline for making amendment to this items of subsidiary legislation would be the first meeting of the next session of the council. If there's an extension, it will be the third meeting of the next session. Further business for the council meeting of the 25th of June. Questions. Dr. Helena Wong has replaced a question. Bills first reading and moving of second reading. Sex Discrimination Amendment Bill 2014 and Private Columbaria Bill. Bills resumption of debate on second reading, committee stage, and third reading. Inland Revenue Amendment Bill 2014. Business for the council meeting of the 2nd of July 2014. 22 questions have been scheduled, 6 oral and 16 written. Bills first reading and moving a second reading, no notice has been received. Bills resumption of debate on second reading, committee stage, and third reading. There are the Supplementary Appropriation 2013-2014 Bill and the Electoral Legislation Miscellaneous Amendments Bill 2014. Government motion. Proposed resolution under Section 54A of the Interpretation and General Clauses Ordinance to be moved by the Secretary for Commerce and Economic Development. Members' motions. Motion on returning a happy childhood to students to be moved by Mr. Michael Tian, and motion on reorganizing the government structure to improve its policy implementation to be moved by the Honourable Kenneth Leung. There's a list of 11 items of subsidiary legislation, the deadline for amendment of which would expire on the 2nd of July. If members wish to speak on these items, please so indicate before 5 p.m. on the 24th of June, Tuesday. The Chief Executive's question and answer session on the 3rd of July 2014. It should be from 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. Reports of Bills Committees and Subcommittees. Report of the Bills Committee on Stamp Duty Amendment Bill 2013, Ms. Dari Lee. Mr. Chairman, the Bills Committee has held 80 meetings to scrutinize the bill and receive views from deputations and the public. The details of our deliberations are in the written report. In the course of scrutiny, members were particularly concerned about the effectiveness of the doubled ad valorem duty AVD measure, constitutionality of the measure and its impact on the business environment and Hong Kong's image as a free economy, mechanism for future adjustment of the ad valorem duty and the need for or otherwise for a sunset clause for the measure. The Bills Committee focused its discussion on the application of the doubled AVD and exemption arrangements, for instance, for non-residential properties, property transactions involving closely related persons, acquisition of units under the tenants' purchase scheme, properties bought by charitable bodies, exemption or otherwise for acquisition of multiple properties under one instrument, and the expansion or otherwise of the scope of exemption to include in-laws as closely related persons. Members held various views on these issues. In response to members' concerns and having considered the need to balance all relevant factors, the administration has agreed to move amendments to effect adjustments in 3 areas. 1. Relaxing the 6-month time frame for owners who have acquired a new residential property to dispose of their original one. The time frame would be pushed back to commence from the conveyance on sale instead of the agreement for sale and purchase of the newly acquired property as currently proposed. Those changing properties can file applications to the Inland Revenue Department for the refund of the difference between the new and old duty rate, either within 2 years from the agreement for sale and purchase of the new property or within 2 months from the conveyance on sale of the original property, whichever is later. 2. Exemption arrangements for acquisition of a residential unit together with a car parking space. A Hong Kong permanent resident acting on his or her behalf who acquires a residential unit and a car parking space under one instrument and who is not the beneficial owner of any other residential properties and car parking spaces in Hong Kong on the date of purchase will enjoy exemption of the doubled AVD for no more than one parking space purchased. 3. AVD adjustment mechanism. Future AVD adjustments, including the doubled AVD, will be effected by way of a bill introduced into legislature for scrutiny. The Bills Committee welcomes the positive response from the administration to members' demands and the steps it takes to cater for the public's need to buy homes. Mr. Tommy Zhang, Mr. Abraham Sheck, Mr. Kenneth Leung, and Mr. James Toh have indicated their intention to move committee stage amendments. The details are in the report. Chairman, the Bills Committee raises no objection to the resumption of a second reading debate on the bill at the Council meeting on the 9th of July 2014. Next. Report of the Bills Committee on Shipping Legislation Control and Smoke Emission Amendment Bill 2014. This is Stephen Ho. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As Dr. Kenneth Chan, Chairman of the Bills Committee, is out of town, I am making the report on his behalf. The Bills Committee has held 2 meetings. In one of the meetings, we met with deputations. The Bills Committee supports the policy direction of the bill. In the course of scrutiny, members have discussed the long title of the bill, the use of the Ringelmann chart, investigation, enforcement and prosecution procedures, and publicity and education. The details of our deliberations are in the report. The Bills Committee supports the administration in resuming the second reading debate of the bill at the Council meeting on the 9th of July 2014. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Next, report of the Bills Committee on Marriage Amendment Bill 2014. Mr. Ip Kwok Him. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Bills Committee has held 9 meetings and has received views from the public. In the course of deliberations, members have expressed particular concerns that the proposal in the bill that a person who has gone through a full sex reassignment surgery, SRS, will be allowed to marry in the reassigned sex. Members hold different views on the proposal. Some members believe the relevant threshold is too high and lacks flexibility. They query if the proposal would affect the human rights of those who have not received full SRS and is therefore in breach of the relevant Bill of Rights legislation. Other members are of the view that the Court of Final Appeal CFA order involves only circumstances identical to those in the WO case and persons who have received full SRS. They are against expanding the scope of the bill to cover those who have not received full SRS. There are still some other members who believe that the issue of gender recognition is extremely controversial. There must first be public discussion before any decision is made. The administration points out that the CFA order is about the circumstances involving persons who have received full SRS. On the issue of gender recognition, including the question of transsexuals who have not received full SRS, the administration has set up an interdepartmental working group on gender recognition chaired by the Secretary for Justice to examine the issue in detail. The Bills Committee has also discussed other issues, including the impact of sex reassignment on existing marriages, the question of whether a religious body's refusal to be the celebrant of the marriage of a person who has completed SRS is in breach of the District Disability Discrimination Ordinance, and also the urgency of the bill, and so on. The administration explains that the order made by the CFA will take effect automatically when the suspension of the order expires on the 16th of July this year. By then, with or without the passage of the bill, people in the same circumstances as W will be entitled to marry in their reassigned sex. Even so, the administration believes it has the duty to incorporate the ruling into statute law and make clear to the public the marriage rights of the relevant individuals. Members note that the administration will move an amendment to designate the commencement date of the 17th of July 2014. Members also note that Mr. Dennis Kwok intends to move amendments, including adding a sunset clause. Ms. Sit Ho and Mr. Raymond Chen have also indicated their intention to move amendments to the provision on the requirement for full SRS. Ms. Sit Ho might also consider removing the requirement or including an exception clause. Mr. Tommy Zhang has indicated its intention to move an amendment to exempt unwilling religious bodies from acting as celebrants of marriages of persons who have received full SRS. After taking a vote, the Bills Committee has expressed support for the administration to resume the second reading debate of the bill at the Council meeting on the 9th of July. A written report of the Bills Committee will be submitted later. Thank you.
I'd like to remind members that with regard to the three bills, if you like to make any amendments, the deadline for giving notice is the 28th of June. Report of the subcommittee to study the proposed legislative amendments relating to the establishment of a new Innovation and Technology Bureau. Dr. Loy Kwok. Thank you, Chairman. The subcommittee held two meetings with the administration with regard to the legislative proposals to set up a new Innovation and Technology Bureau. We also scrutinized the proposed resolution for the transfer of related statutory functions to the new Bureau. The details of our discussion are in the written report of the subcommittee. I will not give the details here. The subcommittee has no objection with regard to the proposed resolution by the administration, nor will it propose any CSAs or amendments. Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to remind members that if you like to make any amendments, the deadline for making the notice is the 24th of June, a Tuesday. Position on Bills Committees and Subcommittees. As of the 19th of June, there are 15 Bills Committees and 6 subcommittees under the or actually 6 subcommittees which are on subsidiary legislation and 1 subcommittee on policies. There are 3 other items. I like to swap them around. I like, first of all, to talk about the invitation to be sent to the CS4A as proposed by Ms. Sit Ho to attend a meeting to the House to discuss issues relating to the white paper. Yes, I indicated I wanted to speak. I had wanted to speak on the marriage amendment ordinance. We only had a report. We only needed to make a report. There is no need to speak. Well, actually, in the past, after the chairman gave a report, members of the committee could speak briefly. My understanding is that there should be no discussion. I understand you are in a hurry. I understand you want to finish the meeting as quickly as possible, but please refer to past practice. No, I'm not in a hurry. I'm talking about swapping of the items. I'm chairing the meeting. I think there is no need for a discussion. No, Chairman, I'm not talking about a discussion. In the past, the convention over all these years is after the chairman presented a report, members of that committee could speak briefly on the report made by the chairman. I don't think it is necessary. I'm saying that you have already got the report. If you have views, you can talk to the committee. Then you have to talk to the clerk of the committee. No, I'm not happy about the procedure. Please stop speaking. Ms. Sit Ho is proposing to invite the CS4A to come to a special House committee to discuss issues relating to the white paper on the practice of the one country, two systems policy in Hong Kong SAR. Are you trying to speak again? Sorry, the speaker's not coming through. Order, please. Order, please. I'm trying to deal with the business of this meeting. I'm warning you, Mr. Albert Chan. If you continue to speak, I'm telling you to stop speaking. I'm warning you now. Speaker is not coming through. What do you want? I am chairing the meeting. I'm chairing the meeting. If I don't ask you to speak, you cannot speak. Ms. Sit Ho is proposing to have this special meeting. On Monday, I will be meeting the CS4A. I will make this known to the CS4A on Monday. Any objection? You have written in. We have already got your letter. So I will ask the CS4A to come. Any objection from you? Anyone objecting to it? I don't object. But I like to listen to the views of other members. Would you allow me to speak? Because the Secretariat, Ms. Sit Ho, I will give you 1 minute. Chairman, the responsibility to conduct this meeting smoothly includes allowing members to speak. So I'm giving you 1 minute. No, you cannot frivolously say that you're guilty of gross misconduct and stop us from speaking. Ms. Sit Ho, I will give you 1 minute. I am talking about your attitude in chairing the meeting. Do you allow me to continue? You can only speak on this one. You have only 1 minute. Sorry, Chairman. You can have the clock tick, and then I can stop after 1 minute. But 1 minute is not enough. You are the chairman. You have to assist members and allow them to express their views smoothly. You should not stop members from expressing their views. You cannot say you have 1 minute, the other one has 1 minute, and then if you continue to speak, I'll drive you out of the chamber. Now, if you don't allow people to speak, then this is not a meeting. Why don't you have just circulation of meetings? Then you can close the entire Legislative Council and we don't need Mills barriers anymore. Your time is up. Any objection? You can only have 1 minute. Now, what I understand your arrangement is that I hope Ms. Sit Ho can explain what she is exactly requesting. And actually, for such meetings, the prior preparation is important. I'd like to know whether we need to set up a subcommittee. Chairman, somebody is disturbing me while I speak. Order, please. Order, all right? Can you hear the chairman? When I speak, you should remain silent. Chairman, again, someone is speaking. Why don't you warn him or her? They are speaking when I am speaking. Chairman, you are prejudiced. Chairman, please record this. You are biased. Somebody else is speaking when I speak, and then you don't warn them, but then the few of us here, if we speak, you would warn us. I think your attitude is harming the dignity of this council. I express dissatisfaction towards you. I think we should have a prior meeting, and we should have the hiring officials come here and prepare for that meeting with the CS4A. Mr. Leung Yiu-chung, Chairman, what rules are you following to allow us just to speak for 1 minute? What is the precedent? If we have the aspiration to express our views, and we have written in to say that we'd like to invite the CS4A to come, what precedent can you cite that you can only allow 1 minute for members to speak? If I remember correctly, at least you should allow 3 minutes. What kind of a meeting is this if you allow only 1 minute? Are you abusing your power? Are you saying that being the chairman, you can call the shots at this meeting? If you say 1 minute, we can only have 1 minute. Do you have rules? Do you have principles to go by? Who do you think you are? ROP 64, if you continue to speak, I'll send you out. I'm speaking now. Send me out. If you so like to tell people to leave or evict people, then do it. What kind of a council is this? I want now to speak. Do you allow me to speak? Mr. Sin Chung Kai. Chairman, I'm very dissatisfied with the way you are chairing the meeting. I hope members will come back to this item, and that is the proposal by Ms. Sit-ho. If you want to regret me about my attitude in chairing the meeting, you can do so on another occasion. You can also move a motion of no confidence in me. You can deal with it separately. Chairman, what do you mean by on other occasions? Well, you can write into the House to say that you want to do something. Okay, I'll come back to Ms. Sit-ho's proposed meeting, and I'll speak my mind. I support the invitation of CS4A and also the S4J to come here for a discussion. And of course, when we invite them to come and discuss the matter, of course, we like to take up the matter raised by Ms. Sit-ho, but I want them to be prepared for discussing the role of the Hong Kong SARG in the preparation of the white paper. Did they have any input to the CPG? Just now, Mr. Albert Chan said that in the past, at the House Committee, after Bills Committee Chairman reported on the deliberation, members were allowed to make supplementary views. It seems you are doing it differently. Ms. Claudia Mo. Thank you, Chairman. I also like to regret you for lightly reprimanding people. You were leaning forwards and you were pointing your fingers at members when you scolded them. This is most undesirable. Don't think that you can call the shots and do anything you like when you are the chairman. This is parliamentary violence. This is systemic violence. Coming back to this item, I have some hesitation. The white paper was issued by the State Council. It came from Beijing. It is in black and white. It is not a legal document, but it says very clearly that Beijing has comprehensive jurisdiction over Hong Kong, and the CE should listen to Beijing wherever necessary. Okay, you ask CS4A and the S4J to come here. They can only rehash the points. They had already been interviewed by many reporters already. So would this be a waste of time? I have some hesitation. I'm not objecting. I'm also worried that if we have only 1 minute at that meeting, then there will be no discussion. Mr. Raymond Wong Yuk Man. Chairman, how many minutes and evicting people? Okay, you have the power to do that. I thank members, including the Pan-Democrats, for allowing you to amend the ROP, or else why would the chairman be so dominating? This is what you did. You tied your own hands, and now the chairman can be so dominating. I thank the Pan-Democrats for supporting the amendments to the ROP. Coming back to the proposal by Sit-ho. Yes, it's all right. Ask those two persons to come, but they are deadwood. They are going to hell. If they should come here, my position is for them to be insulted by us. Ask them, do they understand about high degree of autonomy and Hong Kong people ruling Hong Kong, do they know what it means to ask the judges to be patriotic? Well, even if they come here, they will just speak nonsense. Okay. The duty visit would be postponed to the next Tuesday. AOB, nothing under AOB meeting agenda.